Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that dial. We got a great show here today. My guest today is from the District Attorney's Office in Montgomery County. And we're going to talk about appeals, you know, and the functions of the District Attorney's Office, you know. Don't wait until you get in trouble or you have to, somebody gets in trouble and you say, well, what do I do, what do I do? An informed nation is a peaceful nation. Be informed. Know what's what. Know where to turn if you need help. Don't forget, the District Attorney's Office is your friend. The District Attorney's Office is the one that if somebody beats you up or something, you don't need a lawyer. A District Attorney defends you. They're your lawyer. So that's why we pay taxes, okay? That's the District Attorney's Office. But the District Attorney's Office has different functions and different departments. And my guest today, her department is appeals, when someone wants to appeal a particular case. And let me tell you, I know her for a long time because I worked at the District Attorney's Office as a county detective. She was an assistant district attorney. Now she's a deputy. The deputy is a little bit higher than the assistant, okay? I think she gets a little bit more green folding stuff there, you know, a little bit, which is nice, you know, it's nice to know. And Risa Furman was so, it's nice that I called the last minute to, and says, I'll send Patricia. And my guest today is Patricia Coonhan. Did I pronounce that right?
You did, Hank.
Cool.
Very well.
Well, you know, I should introduce her. Where can you get more of an Irish name than that? Patricia Coonhan. Oh, my God. When I should sing, when Irish eyes are smiling. But, okay, now back to my guest here. Now, welcome to Hank Cisco Show.
Great to see you, Hank.
Okay, and great that we worked together. You know, I was a county detective and you were an assistant DA.
That's true.
So now you're top echelon, you're top shelf here, right?
Well, I'm under the district attorney, who's Risa Furman, and Kevin Steele, who's the first assistant. And then there's...
You know, I got to Steele. I haven't had him on my show yet. I got to get him.
Okay, there you go. Well, I'm sure he'll accommodate you.
Yeah,
I'm
but he's
sure.
been busy every time I've had quite a few different department heads, I guess you call them.
Right.
But I haven't had him.
Right.
I'm going to touch base. And one other thing, go back and tell Risa I'm going to call Lynn Abraham, District Attorney of Philadelphia. I'm going to have Lynn Abraham and Risa Furman on my show here.
That'll be a great show.
Two women district attorneys. You know, when I was a police officer in Norristown, but you know, I think the first assistant DA was Newman. Sandra Newman, I think, was one of the first.
That's right.
Now there's a lot of women in the district attorney's office, loaded, right?
That's right.
Which is good.
I think our office has at least half of the assistant district attorneys are female. Yes,
so
that's
you
true.
See. So students, you know, study law, you know, and you become a district attorney, become a judge. It's great opportunities. Okay. Now, tell me something about you first.
Okay, Hank.
Okay, tell me about you.
All right. On a professional level, I've been an assistant district, well, I started out as an assistant district attorney in 1987. And a few years after that, I became captain of the appellate division, and now I'm the...
Appellate?
Appellate.
What do you mean by appellate now? So like,
appellate means after someone's convicted, a defendant is convicted or pleads guilty. Many times the defendant thinks about it afterwards.
Complains?
And, well, files post-trial motions, post-sentence motions, and alleges that there was something wrong with the trial or with their attorney. They allege ineffectiveness of counsel, and then that's when I step in. I handle the direct appeals to the Pennsylvania Superior Court, which are when a defendant says that something's wrong with his trial or his guilty plea. Right. And then there's what's called a collateral appeal, which is a petition that's filed alleging that the lawyer had done something wrong. And then there's also federal habeas corpus actions.
Everybody makes mistakes, or the evidence wasn't presented properly, or evidence wasn't put in there, or whatever.
Right.
So, well, in other words, the district attorney's office, they make sure that the guy gets a fair shake.
That's
okay.
True.
When that guy is guilty, they want to make sure that every avenue was pursued. Or
that's true.
Is that
and
a
it's
word
also
used? Right.
and it's also by statute that a defendant is entitled to a direct appeal to the Pennsylvania Superior Court. If you go further than that into the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, that's called a discretionary appeal.
Right.
And that's only if the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decides to take it. If they see a question in there or an issue in there It could be regarding anything. It could be regarding Miranda rights. It could be any issue. If they see that, they'll take the appeal. But Pennsylvania Superior Court really has to take a direct appeal that the defendant files.
Right.
So at least there's one review that way of a defendant's conviction or guilty plea. There might be in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court the discretionary aspect of taking an appeal, and then of course there's the collateral aspect if a defendant alleges that a lawyer made a mistake, and then you still have another avenue, which is federal habeas corpus, if you know, if it comes to that.
What's that when they bring it right on to the, what's that, the corpus?
Well, federal habeas corpus.
Why do they use them on fancy names? Why don't they say,
Well,
pick them up and bring them over?
It's a Latin term, bring the body forward, right. But in this respect, when it comes to the federal habeas corpus, it's a petition that you file with the federal courts.
Okay.
In the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, because we come under the Eastern District of the federal courts.
Right.
And again, there's another set of rules that govern that. So there's a lot of rules of appellate procedure. There's a lot of rules of all kinds of procedure that you have to follow.
A lot of paperwork, right?
Yes, there is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, you are from where? What schools did you go to?
Well, I was raised in Cheltenham Township.
Raised in Cheltenham.
All my life.
Cheltenham High School?
No, I did not. I went to Melrose Academy, which no longer exists.
Rosemont?
No, Melrose Academy. It was in
what happened
Elkins
there?
Park. They closed. I think they just couldn't afford to stay open anymore.
Yeah.
So that was high school. And college, I went to LaSalle College.
LaSalle?
Yes. And then from there, I went to Villanova University School
That's a
of
law school, right?
So I graduated from there in 1981. And I was very fortunate for the 2 summers during law school.
Okay, tell me who you worked for.
1979 and 1980, I worked for Judge Vincent Cirillo.
Oh, man.
And I know that you know him. That's,
oh, yeah.
That's for
He
sure.
used to come to the fights, and when he was campaigning for
He ran for Superior Court.
Superior Court,
Yes.
right, and he won.
He did. In 1981, he won.
Right.
But I was fortunate enough to be a summer law clerk for him, 2 summers in the Court of Common Pleas in Norristown.
Yeah.
And I learned so much. I mean, from him, he was just, he was a
and
great
then
guy.
he and Judge Moss were great friends. When I used
Yes.
to referee fights, they used to come to see the fights.
Yes, Judge Milt Moss, right.
They were great, and it was really something. So you, and another, I go from one thing to another, but I remember the Bar Association has an annual clam bake, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm in charge of the butchie. And
That's
I
right.
think you won the butchie contest how many years in a row?
Quite a few times.
Yeah.
I have. Which is pretty
Who's
amazing.
your partner? I forget.
Mark Capuccio. Mark Capuccio.
Right.
And I remember one time, a number of years ago, we were going to play bocce at the clam bake. And
Bocce?
Yes, excuse
All
me.
right.
I don't pronounce it right, I guess.
Good.
And Mark says, come over to my house, and we did, and we bocce'd around his whole backyard just
no kidding.
just to
Practice
practice. But
up.
we never told anybody that.
Oh, I was
never
wondering.
we
Yeah.
never told anybody
I
that.
was judging.
So, but for the most part, I don't practice when I play bocce. It's just it's usually once a year at the clam bake, but you're always there to call them as you see them.
Right,
And
I had the tape measure and all. You know, it's
Yep,
great.
you
know,
do.
Bocce's getting big. You know, they got Holy Savior has one. They have one out the
I know
park.
they do.
They say in time that bocce will outdo golf because the golf courses now they're starting to build houses there
That's
and all.
right.
And bocce where an elderly guy can play bocce with a young grandchild and
Sure.
you know, and it's a lot of bending and exercise and you know.
Right, that's right.
You know, it's,
well, they have courts near the Norristown Zoo, right? The Elmwood Park Zoo.
Yeah, right.
And I think we even have courts. I live in Skipback now. I've lived in Skipback
yeah?
Township for the last.
I think every golf course will eventually have them. You know.
Right.
But
I believe there's a bocce court in Skipback.
We have a lot of fun, and I get to know a lot of the lawyers. Even first when I was with the policemen, then with the district attorney's office. But then when I leave, then there's a lot of new lawyers, and I get to know them through the Bar Association. You know.
Right.
And so, okay, now the district attorney's office is set up. You have a separate unit that does a certain judge look at your cases? Like I think Judge O'Neill, he has to do with drugs and all.
Right.
Is there certain,
No, there's no particular judge. No, we handled Well, there's 140 employees in the district attorney's office.
How much?
140.
Wow, Risa's head of that?
Yes,
My
she is.
God.
Risa Furman is
right.
DA, and she does an excellent job.
Okay, great.
So there's 44 assistant district attorneys. When I started in 1987, I think there were maybe 30 or 31. So that's how much we've increased. But our caseload has increased during the last 23 years. I've been in the office 23 years. So at this rate, this year, I believe we're around 11,000 cases a year. So you do need 44 assistants.
Right.
There's 3 assistants well, maybe I should explain. There's, I believe, 34 detectives that work
Something like that, yeah.
in the office.
Yeah, some are investigators, some.
And I think 64 support staff, which are, secretaries and...
Chief Oscar Vance, I worked under him.
That's right,
Yeah.
you worked for Oscar Vance.
Lieutenant Bernstein's helped me with the Columbus Monument. I got to give him a plug.
Good, that's great. I know, he did help you with that.
Right.
But there's the trials division in the district attorney's office. There's a pre-trials division. And trials, of course, handle the trials that go through the system and go in front of all judges, all the judges on our bench. Now, usually there's 7 to 8 assigned criminal judges at a time. So, of course...
How many judges we have altogether, you say?
We have
13,
21.
21, oh
Yeah,
my God. Yeah.
21.
And then we have some that are leaving, right?
Yes, we have some
And
that are...
six are leaving?
Well, there's 2 openings already, and then there's going to be 3 more from retirements, and then 2 new created judgeships.
So that's how many altogether?
So there'll be 7 openings
7
on the bench.
And you got your hat in there.
I
right?
do.
That's what
I
you
do,
know,
Hank.
come to think of it, I had to mention that because you, as an appeal district attorney, you oversee and you see the case from the beginning to the end.
That's true.
If the policeman messed up, if the district attorney messed up, if the lawyer messed
That's
up,
true.
if the judge messed up or something, you have that oversee. So you have this knowledge, overall knowledge.
That's true.
Which gives you a lot of experience to go on with whatever you're going to run for judges. So,
Right. I think
that's very important, you know.
Well, sure. I mean,
You're not a one-act person, right?
No, right. I mean, when I look at any case that I have to work on to do a brief to the appellate courts or to possibly do a hearing in the trial court after the fact, you have to know the whole case from the start.
Well,
from
do
the
you go
beginning.
before a judge and?
Yes. So I'm lucky enough, I'm very fortunate, I go before our judges in the Court of Common Pleas, in Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. And then I also argue in front of the Pennsylvania Superior Court judges. And
Pennsylvania Superior, you do that?
Yes.
Oh.
So usually those arguments are in Philadelphia, but they could be in Pittsburgh, they could be in Harrisburg,
Oh, that's right,
mainly in Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
And then the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, too. I've argued in front of them. And again, that can be Philadelphia.
Judge Sandra Newman was
Yes,
chairman.
that's right.
President.
So that's also in Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh, but mainly in Philadelphia is where, but that's, again, I go back to the beginning of what I said.
But you go before the Supreme Court and the Common Pleas.
Right.
How about, in other words, you got.
And the federal court.
And the federal
too.
court.
Yes, yes.
In other words, you're representing the district attorney's office, the victim, we'll say
Sure.
the victim most likely,
Absolutely, right.
And the guy that caused the problem, he's the one that's complaining, and then Sue, you have to,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
reaffirm that everything went okay,
So
and this
sure,
guy.
we represent the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and Montgomery County, but also the victims is exactly right.
Right.
So we're, in my division, I have 2 attorneys that work with me, they're
With you.
under me. And we're the ones that the statewide courts encounter. You know, we're
Okay.
not just our court, the Court of Common Pleas, but the Pennsylvania Superior and Supreme. So our work, our briefs, our arguments, we go out to argue these cases to uphold a conviction or a guilty plea. And we're the ones that really represent the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office across the state in front of all the statewide judges.
Yeah.
And also, what you learn is in the appellate division, the law that the trial court imposes and thinks about and uses in making decisions on evidence, on procedure, on substantive issues, that all comes down really from your appellate courts. You either get the law from statutes that are written by the state legislators, but then the courts, of course, interpret and imply that.
Right, interpret, right.
And the final word are are the appellate courts as far as what is right and what is wrong. So that's a benefit too, that, I mean, I constantly have to know what the latest appellate decision is
Right.
on all kinds of...
Things change, right?
Sure, sometimes they change. Sometimes they stay the same for a long,
They,
long time.
the laws don't change too much, once in a while, right?
Once in a while,
They-
right.
But they say, get yourself a young lawyer, no, a young doctor and an old lawyer.
Is that what it's-
Because they got
That's a good
new
one.
medicines,
That's
right?
that's
And
right.
an old lawyer, because an old lawyer, he'll know the case, an old case, and bring it
That's-
back, you know.
That's a good
Tell me,
point.
what, now, you went to high school at Cheltenham, right?
Well, no, and in Elkins Park, but
Well,
yeah.
but what did you first say, I want to become a lawyer, I want to get involved? Where'd you drop the seed? Did somebody influence you? Who influenced? I know, I remember a policeman and a couple friends influenced me becoming a police officer.
Right.
With 34 years in police work.
Well, when I went to LaSalle College, I majored in criminal justice and psychology, and I just happened to like that line of work.
Right.
And there were a few people that were a couple years ahead of me at LaSalle who said that they were going to law school, and then I started to think about it more and more. And that's what happened. I applied, and I was accepted in 5 law schools, and I went to Villanova, and I'm very happy
You
that
got
I
a
did.
scholarship?
No, no scholarship.
No, so you gotta
No
pay-
scholarship.
You
No.
got to pay your own green folder and
That's
stuff,
right.
right?
Sure. I mean, my dad was he was a plasterer by trade, and he was a bus driver, and my mother.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, for SEPTA. He started with PRT, and then it became PTC, and then
SEPTA.
So my parents are gone now, but no, I mean, I had to work my way through school. There's no question about it. And and I decided that I wanted to be
You
a
have any
lawyer.
brothers or sisters?
I have 2 sisters and a brother.
What
And
do they do?
my brother, everybody's retired now. Just remember, I'm the youngest. That's all you got to remember. But they're quite a bit, 13, 16, and 18 years older than me. But one was a guidance counselor, one was a social worker, and at Abington Hospital. Yeah, so.
One was a doctor?
No, not a doctor, social worker. A social
worker.
worker.
Well,
Right,
okay.
Right.
Prepare them, okay.
Right, but my parents are gone now. But I mean, they taught me all about hard work and to always be fair and always be honest. I know those things sound trite, but I don't think that they are. I mean, I think that it's most important in your life and the way you work, the way you live.
Right,
and
right.
So I had very, very good parents, very, very good role models. And
Yeah. How many district attorneys did you work on for?
well, I was hired by Tom Waters.
Tom Waters.
And then Mike Marino,
Mike Marino.
for 12 years, Bruce Castor for 8 years,
Right.
and now Risa Furman.
Right, okay. Now, who did I have? I had Waters, Nicholas, Moss,
Probably Judge Smythe, I
Judge
guess.
Smythe,
Mhm.
Marino. I guess that was it. Yeah,
Right.
Marino was the last, I
So
think.
you started a little bit before me.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but we worked. We were
Sure, we
together.
did. We
I had a
crossed
little
over.
office, and,
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember I had a little office. You used to come in there. We had coffee, you know. So,
Right, right.
but what is what do you think is one of the most important functions of the district attorney's office? I mean, I know it's a hard question or something, but what do you think?
Well,
What people don't realize what the district attorney's office does. You know,
Well, really, what the district
help.
attorney's office
if
does.
somebody has a complaint, that you know, and
Right.
maybe they go to a township or something where maybe they're having a little problem, and maybe the police department will say, well, I don't know, whatever, but the district attorney's over. They can call the chief and say, hey, let's look at this together or something. And also, the district attorney's office, in case the police have to make a raid or something, they go to the district attorney's office, make sure they got the proper warrants and everything.
Right.
Because, you know, what you go in with illegal papers and everything, you mess up on a good pinch.
That's right. No, I mean, you want to do things the right way. There's no question about it. You don't want to infringe on any individual's rights.
Right.
But you should have, you know, probable cause
Right.
to get the warrant to search or even and to arrest.
Now the police come. They want to get a search warrant. What's the procedure? They go to a judge if there's something.
Right. Well, they do their affidavit of probable cause, which are the facts as they know them, to substantiate a criminal wrong that's been done
Right.
against someone.
Probable cause. In other words, they have information that
Yes.
that this guy has guns or
Right, or
dope
evidence.
or whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
And then they got to get they got the legal papers to go in there. Right.
And then they go to a district justice,
Well, I know you were well respected by the police in Montgomery County. I remember when I was in the DA's office, even when I was, you know, you get to know people and everybody. A lot of policemen, they'll say, hey, they'll call a certain DA, you know,
That's
for an
true.
assistant or something. That's
right.
cool. When you have a good relationship like that,
That's right.
it really it keeps the
But the
thing
criminal
going.
wrongs that we prosecute are criminal wrongs that are done to everyday people like you and I.
Right.
And they're the victims of
Right.
of a certain crime. For the, you know, that's how, and that's why. Then that's when your local police get
Right,
involved,
right.
and then also as it comes up through the system, there's a preliminary hearing for a defendant who's charged with a criminal wrong,
Right.
and then it ultimately comes up to the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas, to be prosecuted, and that's where all of us, the assistant district attorneys, get involved at that
Right,
point.
right. If there's some kind of crime that's, you know, like some departments don't have personnel, they'll call up and ask the county detective for assistance.
Yes.
They'll also get the district attorney to assist them in some way.
That's true.
So it's like a fraud of some kind, a lot of paperwork and all. Well,
That's right.
if the department only has 10, 15 guys, you know, and 3
That's right.
shifts and all, it's pretty tough.
That's
So
right.
that's when the district attorney's office steps in.
Sure.
And that's when you have special units for fraud and
That's right. That's right.
whatever. You got rape,
Sure.
you got
Sex crimes
abuse
unit, yes.
for elderly people and
Yes.
everything else,
That's
right?
right.
It isn't just, you know, you're not using.
Domestic violence, that's another
Right.
area that we have some of our staff and a few of the assistant district attorneys have specialized knowledge
Right.
in.
And
Yes.
the juvenile division too.
Juvenile, too.
I remember
That's
when
another-
I worked juvenile, and I remember the district attorney, who was it? Gerhardt,
Oh,
right?
that's right.
Gerhardt.
Bob Gerhardt,
and,
yes.
Snyder.
Uh-huh.
Bob Snyder.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
we had-
I
we had,
remember him, sure.
But I tell you, there were some classic judges when Tressler, you know.
Sure.
Tressler was a great basketball player. you
Oh,
know?
was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like you were a bunchy player, a basketball player. Well, all right, now.
Well, I worked for 4 judges. I worked, as I said earlier, I worked for Judge Cirillo, summer of '79, summer of '80, and then I worked for him on the Superior Court of Pennsylvania. I was in his first group of law
In
clerks.
Superior Court?
Yes, for 1 year. And then I came back to the courthouse, and I was fortunate enough to be hired by Judge Davenport. I worked for him for a little bit.
Davenport, yeah. Norristown,
Yes.
homegrown.
Yep.
Went to Gottwald School.
Yes.
And, right.
And then Judge Tressler for a little bit, and then I was Judge Corso's first law clerk when he came on the
Judge
bench.
Tressler? Yeah.
And then Judge Gerald Corso. I was his.
Corso, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I worked for him for
Well,
2
he's
years.
retiring, isn't he?
He's retiring this year.
Who else is retiring?
Judge Corso, Judge Dreyer, and Judge Rossinice is leaving a little bit
yeah.
before retirement age,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's stepping down, yes.
So we have, I know my cousin is running for judge too, Carolyn Coluccio.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Right,
Uh-huh, sure.
Garrett
That's right.
Page too,
Yes.
a good friend of mine. He's a great runner.
Right.
I just throwing them names out there, but
Yes.
you know, just saying that we have some nice people that are they got their hats in the ring. But you know, just one little thing. But Stan Husky wrote a book about Norristown, and there's a lot in here about people that helped build Norristown. And here's Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, yeah.
And here's me. It's a picture with me boxing
you
with
go.
my brother Tony.
You're bobbing and weaving,
A couple
Rob.
little stories. I was bobbing, weaving, slipping and sliding, you know. So they're on sale now. They're $20, you know, at different places. But it's good. It's good. You know, it's good. You're going to get a Christmas present for your cousin or somebody that moved away. And they read this and they'll bring back memories of Norristown. One other thing, on October the 10th, I'm promoting a boxing show.
Okay.
And Hagler, Marvelous Marvin Hagler Jr. is fighting. And I refereed his father's fight in Philadelphia, the Spectrum. And so I'm just promoting. I'm not going to be fighting. My grandson's going to fight Anthony Morano. He's going
is
to be
he?
boxing. So now you're going to be, you're a deputy, right?
Yes.
Deputy district attorney.
Right.
And
There's 5 deputies in the office. That's
5
under-
deputies,
Yes.
okay.
So that's under the district attorney and the first assistant. Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, the half hour is over.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So,
okay.
you know, I want to thank you very
All
much
right,
for
thank you, Hank.
coming.
I
Really, I
appreciate it.
really appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And don't forget, this show is aired Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 o'clock on channel Comcast 28 and Verizon 45. Saturday at 2 p.m. And also you can get it on the computer too. You know. So with this great, it's been a pleasure. You know.
Thank you.
I want people to know that District Attorney is your friend and is in your corner in case you have problems. Okay. So until we meet again, Patricia, come on, we're going to have a little toast here.
All right.
Okay? And we'll say,
Okay.
and Bocce players, Allah Zalud, right?
Great.
That means to your health. Okay? And good luck.
Thanks very much.
I'll see you, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
I know. Thank you. And we'll let the thing spin a little bit. I think